Hey babes, welcome back to Coffee Over Apples. My name is Steph. This is going to be a really fun vlog because I have a reading what other booktubers tell me to read challenge that I have been challenged to do along with a few other friends of mine. And what we did is we sent each other videos with what we want them to read. So I have three booktubers that are controlling my TBR. Ivy, the book goddess, Ashley from Ashley Reads, and Nat from Nerdy Nat Reads. I love them so much. I highly recommend that you go watch their content. They're super fun people. I met them through the D&D readathon that happened last year, and we have been friends ever since. It has been a lovely time. So I'm excited to see, does our taste align?
It could change the world.
Let's see what our friends wanted me to read. We're going to start off with Ashley's pick.
Hey Steph, thanks so much for being part of this collab, and I wanted to tell you about the book that I've chosen off of your TBR. It's an oldie but a goodie, and that is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ning. This is actually set in my hometown, which is very weird. Reading this, I was like, oh, I remember going there as a kid. I remember going there. Very strange. But it has so much to say. You will have a lot of thoughts on this book. There's so much to say about this. So many socioeconomic themes about motherhood, and just, oh my gosh, there's so much. This book says so much. No wonder it's so popular, and I think you'll really enjoy it.
I'm here for it, actually. I would have never picked this book up on my own. This isn't a book that I necessarily feel like gravitated to me. It was something that I had on my physical TBR up until I want to say last year, and then I unhauled it just because it was one of those books where I'm just like, I don't know. It is popular. It was adapted for the screen, but I just wasn't sure. So you know what? Maybe this is the push that I've been needing to finally pick this up. Let's give it a shot. I'm currently about 20% into Little Fires Everywhere and really enjoying it. It's actually flying by a lot faster than I thought it would. I can clearly see the commentary about socioeconomic status, and it's like if you ever seen the movie, I think it's called Meet the Joneses or something like that, or Just Like the Joneses or something. We have this family that is a picture perfect family, and with 3 kids, and they are just wealthy and upper middle class enough where they don't really think about much else. They have this I don't see color mentality. And then we have a mother with a daughter that is renting a unit that that family owns, and the mother's an artist. They've been moving around most of her life. The daughter doesn't really know her father. I want to say they're definitely people of color, but I don't know that it's necessarily specified what nationality or ethnicity they exactly are yet. But definitely the upper class family who owns the house in this picture perfect town is white, and our mother-daughter are people of color. They're brown. So the daughter is hanging out with the children of this family, and she sees the things that they take for granted, like the green of the grass, and just the way that they're able to buy whatever they want. And when the story opens, it's really interesting. It catches you right away. We know that a fire happens, we know that the house burns down, but the nonchalantness of the children, and clearly their lack of a relationship with their mother, despite the fact that they have everything that they might ever want or need and are guaranteed to go to good schools, they have no appreciation for it. And Pearl, who is the daughter of the artist's mother, wants that, but she also has somewhat of what I think could be interpreted as a kind of, there is tension in her relationship with her mom, even though she, I would say, is emotionally more connected to her mom, because her mom likes to basically center their lives and the structure of their lives around her artwork first, is what I'm feeling, because of how unstable their living situation has been. That's my interpretation. So we'll see where this goes, but so far I can see why it was picked up for a TV adaptation, because it is good. I am currently between 65 and 70% into Little Fires Everywhere, and I have so many thoughts. All right, there are things about this that I like, and there are things about it that are just not working for me. So I really like the author's writing style. To me, it is easy to digest. It is fast-paced. What's happening is that it's covering too much, in my opinion. I'm starting to get to the point where I feel like it's getting a little bit surface level, and I'd rather it just go deeper. Now, that doesn't mean that's not going to happen. There's still 30% of the book left. So much can happen in 30% of a book. And it's a decent sized book. So things can happen. But what's happening right now is we have all of these different mothers. We have the mother of the Richardsons, who is the white woman who, like, what's really interesting to me about her character and wild is the fact that she's the kind of white liberal person who her racism comes out when she needs to justify her own actions. And that's really interesting to me, because I like that the author's not necessarily holding our hand with that. She's just illustrating through the characters, giving us her thoughts. Like, we're seeing the way that she pivots between saying that Pearl and her mom, who are the people of color who are her tenants, like, the daughter Pearl's getting along with her kids, and it's like, she's not family when she doesn't want to be family and they don't bring her to certain things, but she is family when she needs certain information and when she wants the child to come out with them to dinner and she can ask her questions so that she can get information to lead her to dig deeper in her mom's past. And all of a sudden it's like, oh honey, you're like a daughter to me. And I'm like, bitch, crazy shit, right? The way that the author's doing those things has really sucked me in that aspect. The bit of critique that we're getting about, like, white liberalism, middle class America, and, like, just how really far are people willing to go to be able to do what is morally right without making themselves uncomfortable, you know? Where it's losing me is that we have, like, all of these different women who have different personal feelings about who is a mother and who should be a mother. And because we have so many different ways of examining the idea of motherhood, when we're talking about, like, legal adoption policy, surrogate policy, just morality, we're not spending enough time digging deep with those. So I am interested in Bibi, I think is her name, is the mom who is, like, she was an immigrant and her husband left her and she had a baby. She was not able to feed that baby, so she gave it to a firehouse or whatever. And according to the law, because she left the baby at the firehouse, she has no legal right, so supposedly, to find the baby after she was finally able to get herself a job and put herself back, you know, pull her back up by her bootstraps, is the way that people say it sometimes. Drives me freaking crazy. Her story, I'm invested, because that's her, to me, that's her baby. And the fact that these people are intentionally not allowing her to have contact with her baby or listen to her story, to really acknowledge the fact that she is a victim of this capitalist system, that she is a victim of systems of oppression that do not work to support women, pregnant women, women of color, minority groups in general. Like, she had to make a very hard decision. Otherwise, she risked the life of her baby. And it wasn't because she didn't want to be a mother. It was because she had to feed her child. So I can understand and respect that. And I feel like that situation, there's so much nuance that we could be having around that situation in and of itself. And then also of, like, again, the Richardsons' relationship with Mia and Pearl and all that. Like, there's just so much that we have there. But now we've gone into Mia's backstory that the Richardsons digging about, and Mia's like toxic parents, her relationship with her brother, which I will add a caveat is a pet peeve of mine. I do not like it when adults allow their younger children, especially their young daughters, because I mostly see this happen with little girls, where when a new sibling comes around, the little girl starts acting like that is her child. And she's like, my baby, that's my baby. And she starts trying to feed him and clothe him and do all these things. Like, obviously, she's not really buying those things for him, but she's acting like she's his mom. And I'm like, no. You are not his mother. He has a mother. Your little brother has a mother who needs to be mothering him. But instead, she's allowing you to be the parent. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So that irked me a little bit, because it wasn't like, it's not that it wasn't addressed, it's that it was used as a motivating factor for who Mia becomes as she's older, and I'm not vibing with that, because it's part of the reason that we're given for a justification of who she like is internally when she makes a decision to keep the baby from the surrogate thing. That's like a whole mess, right? And then her parents' reaction, like, I'm not really vibing with that rationale, so I have issues there, but it's not a bad book. It's not a bad book. It's right now it's giving like 3.5 energy is where I'm at right now, because it has pros and cons. But there's more to come. We will see. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Guess who's the dummy who read all the books and is coming at you from the future to tell you my final thoughts on all of them? We're not going to talk about that. Hey, so I finished Little Fires Everywhere, and I gotta say, some of the concerns that I have were answered, and that is fantastic. The Asian immigrant mother who had her baby taken from her, we do get the white people confronted with their racism and their internal biases that they are projecting onto this woman, and the emotional trauma that they are subjecting her to. So I'm giving it a couple points back just because some of those things were addressed. I will say, however, that my feelings about Mother of Pearl, what's her name again? That bit of background stuff that we got about Mia didn't really add to the conversation. It didn't add to the overall storyline. It just made it more dramatic. And while that is interesting, didn't really do anything for me specifically. So overall, I feel comfortable giving this a 3.75, which to me is a fairly good rating, because we're to convert the 1 to 5 star scale to a scale of 1 to 10. That's basically a 7.5 out of 10, which to me is a fairly decent rating. I liked it. The next book I'm going to read is suggested by Ivy. Here's Ivy's suggestion video.
Hello, Steph. It's me, Ivy. So I have my book recommendation for you. I know that you love the feminine rage. I know that you like horror. I know that you love weird girl books. So hopefully this is weird enough for you, and that you also really love mangas. So the book that I am going to recommend for you is Tomie by Junji Ito. So Junji Ito is literally my favorite like Japanese manga author of all time. He's great with his horror stories. They're absolutely terrifying. And I think you've read a few of his books, so you might know. But Tomie, we are following our main character, Tomie, and it's a collection of short stories about her. And basically there's something wrong with her, okay? Because men become so obsessed with Tomie because she's so beautiful, she's so amazing, to the point where they become so obsessed with her that they unalive her. But Tomie always comes back with a thirst for revenge, and she doesn't care who she's hurting. Men, women, it does not matter. Like, Tomie will come back with a vengeance. And so I'm going to be recommending you this book, and I hope you love it. So please let me know, and don't be afraid to be honest, okay? Because reading is subjective. Regardless, I hope you like my book.
Want to wave at the camera with your book?
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna zoom into you awkwardly.
Hear me out. I am 200 plus pages into Tomie, and I'm convinced that this is a comedy. There should be no reason why I am laughing as much as I am. This is so... it's priceless, actually. I'm going to show you why. So check this out. Tomie's talking to the doctor, right? The doctor. This is like Tomie, I don't know, 2.0, I think, at this point in the book, because there's like a million versions of her. She's like a parasite, and she can regenerate and all this shit. That's not the point, right? Anyway, Tomie says, "Doctor, will you remove me from here?" The doctors look at each other. "A man has been watching me for a long time. He's after me. He's been watching me from that cabinet. He frightens me. Who are you?" "I'm Tomie, doctor." And then they just kind of continue as if she never said that. And then literally like 2 days later, or some crazy amount of time, we're back here, right? Doctor's down there, and like there's a whole ass Tomie. Anyway, man slides out of the same fucking closet. Like, bro, you were in there for 2 days, my guy? Why? When she said this, did nobody clock? We should check the cabinet. This is a fucking comedy. Okay, it's a fucking comedy. So Tomie is like this very, I forgot what the word is. I'll insert the word here. But it's like this trope in Japanese horror of this very pretty girl who kind of like is able to seduce people, and she's a spirit, you know, and she takes many forms and all these things. The unhinged beginning of like, okay, we got a trope that I'm not a fan of, but it's a horror, so like I get it here, which is teacher is messing with the younger student. She falls off a cliff and is like X'd out, right? And everyone in the class who was on the hiking trip saw this and also suspects that some stuff's going on between the teacher and her. And his immediate reaction is like, wait. I can use this to my advantage. He's like, hold up. Girls, watch the perimeter. Boys, take your clothes off. We're going to chop her into itty bitty bits and toss her around the forest. And everyone's like, bet I'm in on it. She deserved what was coming for her. Like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Deranged. And then there's a part where a zombie, I'm not going to show it because I think it's like pretty gruesome, but like there's a part where she basically comes back like a zombie, but her head is only half sticking out of her shoulders. Oh, you know why? Because this is also funny to me, because she had like a growth. She had a growth coming out of her head. And the two boys that were under her spell, she was like, you come and cut off the second head that's coming out of my first head. And he's like, bet. Grabs a fucking saw, knife, whatever, starts hacking away, and eventually accidentally chops her whole head off. And she's like, you idiot, you chopped off my whole head. And he's like, oops, guess I went too far. What do you mean? What do you mean? So then she's got no head, but she needs to regenerate, right? Because now we're on like Tomie part 4 or 5, whatever. Anyway, so she's a zombie and her head's popping out of her body. And she's only got like one ear and 2 eyes sticking out of her neck, like kind of like this, right? And then she like zombie walks, laughs her way out of the apartment. I was crying. I was like, this is the best thing ever. Oh my God, I am having so much fun with this. It's just so silly to me.
Tomie was so much fun. I'm giving this 4 stars. It was hilarious, and it gave me, I think this was a really good introduction to Junji Ito for me, just because it's following the succubus, unreal female main character that is the kind of main character that I'm interested in exploring as a horror figure, and is one of my favorite things in the Japanese horror genre. So this being where I started was actually perfect. A 4 out of 5 converted to a 1 to 10 scale is basically an 8 out of 10, which is a very good rating.
Hey Steph, so for you, I decided to pick Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. This is one that I'm just very interested to hear your thoughts on. You always have such a great breakdown and analysis of the books you're reading. I would really love to see you do that with this work. It's up there for one of my all-time favorite horror books, where we are following Benji, who unfortunately is kind of seen as the savior for this cult that is surviving in a hellscape of a world. He manages to escape and ends up finding safety in this group of teenagers who are managing to survive in a center for queer youth. And while Benji is slowly trying to find his place among this group of teenagers, unfortunately, he is hiding a big secret that the bioweapon the cult has placed inside him is actually turning him into a monster. One that might actually be deadly enough to wipe out all of humanity. This book packed such a punch. I really enjoyed both Benji and Nick, the main characters. I loved the exploration that was done around religion in this story. I'm rooting for Benji to find a family of people who are as accepting of him as he is struggling to be of himself. Did that sentence make sense? One way or another, I'm really hoping you enjoy this.
Oh my God. Let's talk about Hell Followed With Us. This book starts off with a bang. It starts off way harder than Compound Fractures did, which is the other first book that I had read by Andrew Joseph White. Holy shit. I see why the Wachowskis picked this up to potentially become a movie, a show. I don't know, but it needs to be. It's gonna ruffle all the right feathers, in my opinion. Okay, this is fucking crazy. It's literally Judgment Day. Well, Judgment Day is past. It's after that. I think it's the Book of Revelations. I could be totally wrong. I don't know my chronological order of events in biblical text. Okay, but it's this thing that is in the Bible, in which when Judgment Day comes, God will send his angels down to earth and humanity will be wiped of its sinners and the believers will be brought to heaven. And there's like a specific number of believers. I don't know why there's a specific number. Who fucking knows? So it's that. And what this is playing on is the violence that the Bible promises. The idea of wiping out most of human civilization is fucking violent, okay? So literally, angels are these kind of like Constantine-like demon things that are amalgamations of bodies. They're called the Graces, and the believers are following God's plan and chopping everybody to bits. And our main character is a transmasc young person, opens up literally the first page with them running after their father who supported them in their transition was brutally slaughtered, and their mother is like the head of the church. They run into a gang of surviving teenagers who are from a queer youth camp, so they're all surviving together, which means that he's in a place where he is able to be himself, but also he has a secret because the angels, which is the word for like all the believers who are basically going to go to heaven, become angels or whatever, who are God's warriors, are trying to turn him into a seraph, which, if you're unfamiliar with that is, it is like a higher rank of archangel, which is like the one on the cover with the many wings and the many eyes, and is supposed to like lead the charge into the Reformation. And it's playing with this idea of what is good and what is evil, because they want to kill all of the evil angels who are going around and murdering everybody, saying it's part of God's plan. But like, would that make them good? Would that make them bad? Who fucking knows? It's so
Interesting. I'm locked in. This is crazy. Actually, this was a 5-star prediction at some point, and I was just like, oh, I was right. I don't know if it's gonna be 5 stars yet. I don't know. It is a YA. It's reading like a YA, obviously. It is extremely heavy content, but it's being done so well for a young audience, and I appreciate that. So, let's go.
I'm flying through this book. It is such an easy read, word-wise, language-wise, lexicon-wise, content-wise. It's heavy. This is gotta be way more gory than his previous book was. The religious trauma, the dials turned up to like 100. Benji, the main character, has a dark secret that they're keeping from everybody, and it's that he's turning into a seraph. It's pretty gruesome, the way that he's constantly upchucking literally his insides. Like, that to me is the most interesting part of this. Do I think it's quite possible that a bunch of adults would ask teenagers to do the dirty work of taking out the enemy for them in exchange for supplies? Yes. That doesn't seem too far-fetched, so I don't think I had to suspend disbelief for that part of the narrative. And everyone is under so much pressure, and the transformation with Benji is happening so quickly that I don't feel like we've gotten really enough time to appreciate all of the characters that are part of the LGBTQ circle of survivors that are taking care of Benji and that Benji is staying with and working with. Everyone has just so much trauma that they're dealing with. So I don't blame them for not being able to really get as close as they could be. However, I feel like if this was an adult novel, the transformation would be much slower, and so we would get more time with the characters in order to build a foundation of a stronger connection and relationship between certain ones, or even between the reader and character. So for that reason, I feel like I don't have enough things that I really care about other than Benji's well-being, which I'm slowly starting to give up on at this point. I'm like, I don't think this is going to end well for Benji at all. I think it's probably going to end horrifically. I don't know what like the final moral of the story is going to be at this point, because most of the things that I predicted would happen ended up happening. So it's predictable to me because I'm thinking about who the target audience is, but doesn't mean that it's not enjoyable. So at this point, like, I'm pretty sure I know what the climax is going to be, but I don't know what the final moral of the stories is, because every book that is geared towards a younger audience has to have a clear moral to the story of some kind. So I don't know what that could be. I don't know, it could be anything. But I'm pretty sure peace isn't in it, whatever that's gonna look like. Yeah.
This was absolutely insane, and I loved everything about it. I'm giving this a 4.5 out of 5, which on a 1 to 10 scale means that it is a 9 out of 10. I enjoyed the ending so much more than I thought I was going to, because of all the things that I predicted that happened. I ended up finding myself in the situation where I was like, okay, I'm at about 60% of the way through the book, and everything I predicted is going to happen. So, like, what more is there? And while some of the twists was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense, that's not out of left field at all. The way that those twists then turned into other conflicts that I'm glad were centered more so than the conflicts that I thought were going to be centered. I'm trying to keep this as spoiler free as possible. Was actually very refreshing. It was very refreshing. The ending of this somehow ended up hopeful to me. I don't know about anybody else, but I can say for me that it ends on something hopeful. So, and I'm a sucker for monsters. I'm a sucker for anything that has to do with monsters. Monster horror is great. the nuance between Benji and the Graces, I severely underestimated the game Andrew Joseph White. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Because when I first saw him, I was like, oh, that's cool. Monster thing. Amalgamation, like Resident Evil S. I was expecting it to just be like, yeah, these are monster things that are going to conduct evil activities and gore is going to happen. I wasn't expecting the dynamic between the Graces and Benji. Being able to see any monster that is a product of religion become this metaphor for humanity, but also this like metaphor for gender and for the way that one transforms their body in order to become a useful tool to a institution like religion. And what I loved is that Andrew Joseph White did not hold our hand at all with trying to have a sidebar conversation about what the good can come from organized religion. That's not the point here. And if that's the point you're looking for, you're not going to find it. That was extremely refreshing to me because it gave these characters the chance to be able to fully process why this organization is not for them. Anyway, I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars, which ultimately is a 9 out of 10. What a great vlog this has been. Thank you to my friends Ivy, Ashley, and Nat for doing this with me. I need more people to take over my TBR because this was a lot of fun. I post videos whenever I feel like it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Mr. Wonka worked the factory.
In your wildest dreams, you could not imagine